It probably won't surprise you to know that I've owned a lot of iPads over the years. Even before I started doing what I do now for a living, I was deep in the Apple ecosystem. The iPhone was always my main everyday device, but the iPad was the one that excited me the most because the iPad has always been a bigger version of the iPhone. It's the iPhone but more, and what's not to love about that? You've essentially got a little glass display with the entire world at your fingertips. And if you're good at staying productive, that's great, but for many of us, it can lead to overstimulation and a lack of focus, especially when all we're really trying to do is take notes, write down ideas, or stay present in a meeting. Of course, you could go fully analog with a classic pen and paper, but when the technology is there that allows you to meld the best of both worlds, why wouldn't you? Enter the AINOTE 2 from iFLYTEK. It's the world's thinnest e-ink tablet, a record that's actually been certified by Guinness World Records. Now, this video is sponsored by iFLYTEK, so as always with these types of videos, this isn't a review. You shouldn't think of it as one. It's a product showcase, where I'll show you as much of what this device can do as possible while staying as impartial as I can. And by the end of the video, hopefully you'll have a better idea of whether or not this is right for you. Okay, let's get into it. The AINOTE 2 is, as I've already mentioned, an incredibly thin e-ink tablet. And tablet really is the key word here. My previous experience with e-ink devices before being sent this was mostly with Kindles. So I've always thought of e-ink devices as being kind of one-way devices, things that you download books or PDFs onto and then sit and read from. The idea of an e-ink device being capable enough to actually call itself a tablet felt a bit alien to me at first. But after spending some time with the AINOTE 2, I can absolutely see why that's the case. Yes, it is an e-ink reader, and if you want to use it just for reading ebooks or PDFs, you can do that. The device supports EPUB, PDF, DocX, TXT files, and more. You can transfer files from your phone or desktop computer to the tablet, and thanks to the integration of the Google Play App Store and the fact that this runs on a version of Android, you can download Android apps, including the Kindle app. But it would be massively unfair to stop there because this can do a lot more. Let's talk about this, the stylus included with the AINOTE 2. It's made using Wacom EMR technology, and if you're as unfamiliar with the term EMR as I was before I started using this, it stands for electromagnetic resonance, which essentially means that the pen can work without the need for batteries or cables. It supports 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity and includes palm rejection for resting your hand on the screen. The pen itself is light, comfortable, and the writing experience is accurate and genuinely very good. I know it's a bit of a cliche at this point, but it really does feel like you're writing on a sheet of paper with pretty much non-existent latency. At its most basic, you can create standard notes, which is exactly what I was doing when I first started using the tablet. When creating a new note, you can choose from a wide range of page styles, traditional lined, dotted, and grid pages in different sizes, along with more than 80 templates. These include class schedulers, a Pomodoro technique planner, which I've actually found really useful, meeting note templates, SWOT analysis templates, and even things like medication tracking and fitness planners. It's a surprisingly broad range of options that should cover most use cases. Or you can head into the schedule section, which is where you can add tasks to a task list or manage your calendar, and you can sync with external calendars like your Google Calendar if you wish. It's also here that I found one of the more hidden features of the AINOTE. So let's say that you're writing in a regular note. If you tap on the smart pen icon at the top of the screen and then draw a star, and it doesn't need to be a perfect star, which is good news for me because I'm terrible at drawing them, the AINOTE recognizes what it is that you're trying to do. It creates a star, and anything that you write next to it is automatically added to a separate section called Focus Stars. You can then access this later in the schedule section of the tablet. From there, you can jump straight from your focus star to that exact part of your note. So if you wanted to create essentially a way of bringing your attention back to something later on while you're jotting down notes, this is how you would do it. And it goes further. There are actually two other shapes that you can use as well. You can draw a triangle, which acts as a page management marker, or you can draw a circle, which is the one that I find myself using the most. The circle creates a task and adds it straight into the task section of your tablet. So for example, if you're in a meeting and you realize that there's something that you'll need to follow up on later, you can just write it down as you normally would, tap the smart pen icon at the top, and then draw a little circle next to it. When you return to the main view of the tablet and open the schedule section, you'll find that task automatically listed there. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the AI elements of the AINOTE 2, because it won't be surprising to hear that artificial intelligence is baked into this device in some ways that you'd expect and a couple that you probably wouldn't. One of the first things to mention is that the AI here is powered by ChatGPT 5. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of years, you'll already be familiar with what that means. It's GPT-5, it's very capable, and as a daily power user of GPT-5, I was glad to see that this is the model that they've incorporated. In terms of how you actually use the AI, there are a few different paths. First, it can help transcribe your handwriting, which in my experience has been pretty effective, although my handwriting is generally quite clear. Jot down your notes, then tap the AI button at the top, and you'll see a few AI tools. OCR and format will convert the page content to markdown text after recognizing your handwriting. Meeting minutes will convert and summarize your text. Text creation is where you tap into the generative side of things, guiding you through a simple prompt so that AI can draft something for you. If you've used ChatGPT before, this will feel very familiar. It works. I'm not sure this specific feature will be the main selling point of the tablet, but it definitely does work. There's also an AI slider button down at the bottom of the screen. I'll be honest, I found this gesture a little bit hit and miss. Quite often when I tried it, nothing happened. But there is a dedicated AI button that is much more reliable. It's easy to miss, but it's right at the very top center of the tablet. When you tap it, a small AI aid window appears and starts listening to whatever you say. You can use this across the tablet for different things. For example, you can add something to your calendar just by speaking naturally. You might say, schedule an hour this Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a planning session, and it will automatically add that event to your calendar at the correct time. You can also use it to start a new note by voice, and I definitely found this method much more intuitive than navigating through menus manually. The other way to bring AI into your workflow is to use the microphone button next to that AI icon at the top of your note. The AINOTE 2 has 4 microphones, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and they're very effective at picking up voices around you, whether that's people talking in a meeting or, as I've been testing, lectures or YouTube videos playing on devices in my office. When you record, you'll see a real-time transcription. The live transcription quality is okay, but not great. The trick is to add the AI. If you've ever used ChatGPT for transcription and cleanup, you'll know that it's usually excellent, and I'm pleased to say it's very similar here. Record your meeting in real time, then when you're done, tap the AI button to transcribe and summarize. It's at this stage with the smarts of GPT-5 that everything becomes much more effective and much more accurate. But where this gets really interesting is when you start to put all of that together, because this tablet really is greater than the sum of its parts. When you hit the record button, the AINOTE 2 listens to the conversation happening around you, recording the audio and generating that real-time transcription on screen. Once that's done, you can then use ChatGPT to produce a much more accurate transcription or a detailed meeting summary afterwards. What's clever is the way that the interface is laid out while it's doing all of this. The screen splits roughly into thirds, with the top third showing the recording animation and the live transcription as it comes through. That means that the rest of the display remains available for you to take notes in real time while the conversation is still happening. There's also a tag button in the top left corner. If at any point during the meeting or conversation, you realize something's going to be useful to refer back to later or relevant to a note that you're about to make, you can just tap that tag button and jot your thoughts down. The tablet timestamps that note with the exact point it was taken in relation to the recording. So later, you can simply tap on the timestamp and jump straight back to that specific part of the conversation. And keep in mind the circle, triangle, and star shortcuts that you can use. There's also a translation feature where you can set the tablet to listen to a range of languages and translate in real time into another language of your choice. I tested this with a few YouTube videos in German, French, and Spanish and had the tablet translate them into English on the fly. The results were definitely usable, even if not completely accurate. Let's talk about reading on the AINOTE 2, because that brings me to a very obvious omission from this device, the lack of a backlight. If you like to read your e-ink devices in bed or in a dark room, you're going to need some kind of external light source. The 10.6-inch display is crisp and comfortable to look at, and in my time using it, I noticed no glare, whether indoors or even when taking it outside. Sitting and reading a document or a book for a few hours without your eyes feeling tired feels entirely achievable with this device. If you're using the AINOTE 2 in more of a business or study context, where you also want to take notes while you read, the stylus makes that really straightforward. You just tap the select button at the top of the screen, then use the stylus to draw a lasso around any section of text in an ebook or PDF. When you do that, a small menu appears, similar to what you'd see on an iPad, and from here you can highlight the text if you want to, or choose Excerpt. This will take the section that you've selected and add it into a note, where you can then handwrite any additional thoughts underneath. There's also an option to use the AI tools to inquire. This lets you get a definition of the section that you've highlighted, search for it using Google, or tap the AI button to have ChatGPT generate information or context based on that text. As I mentioned earlier, the tablet runs Android 14, giving you access to the Google Play Store. That means that you can install apps like Kindle, OneNote, or Google Docs if you'd rather work that way. It also syncs with cloud storage services like Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox, so you can start a note here on the tablet and finish it later on your laptop. There is undeniably a learning curve with this device, and I found that the more time that I spent using it, the clearer it became that the value you get out of it directly relates to the time that you put in. You could say that's true for most electronic devices, but with the AINOTE 2, some of the features aren't immediately obvious in how they work. For example, the star, triangle, and circle system is a really clever way of integrating focus and task management into the notes that you're already taking, but unless you happen to discover it, it's something that you might never make use of. So if this is a device that you're thinking about picking up for yourself, I would definitely recommend investing a bit of time into watching videos like this one and others online that walk you through how it works, and be prepared to invest a bit of time to learn how to use it. Because once you start to scratch beneath the surface, you realize it's far more capable than it first appears. One thing I've not mentioned yet is the battery life, which in my experience has been very good, no doubt thanks to the minimal power draw from the e-ink display and the storage, which is up to 128 gigabytes. Although it is worth pointing out that here in the 64 gigabyte version that I've been sent, a pretty hefty 23 gigabytes of that is firmware. This probably won't be a massive issue in daily use, but it is worth noting. When it comes to the question of who this tablet is for, I think the best thing to do is strip away some of the noise, some of the features that it can do to a reasonable standard, and instead focus on the core set of things that it does really well. I've seen a few reviews online saying that the AINOTE 2 isn't trying to be something that it isn't, and I'd actually disagree with that. There are features here, like checking your email or using ChatGPT to draft an entire report that technically work, but don't really suit a device like this. If you're generating long-form content with AI, you'll be much better off doing that on a computer or a more traditional tablet like an iPad, where you've got more flexibility and control over what you create. Where I think the AINOTE 2 really shines is for people who want to merge real-world content with digital tools. Whether that's capturing what's discussed in a meeting, what's said in a lecture, or what you're hearing in a talk or video, it's a tool designed to help you record, reflect, and act on those moments in real time. You can capture audio, review sections later, create tasks on the fly, or jot down ideas naturally using a pen rather than a keyboard. It's been a while since I sat in a business meeting, but I would feel quite comfortable sitting and recording a meeting and occasionally jotting down a note or two on this, and I think I'd appear much more present than I would if I was sat behind my laptop. Maybe you're someone who prefers working through written materials like reports or PDFs, and you want something more capable than a Kindle for highlighting and annotating documents. Or maybe you just want a scheduling and task management tool that removes distractions, something sleek and focused that can sit on your desk and replace your paper planner. The AINOTE 2 can do all of that, and it does it very well. So that's the AINOTE 2 from iFLYTEK, a very capable e-ink tablet. What do you think? Is this the kind of product you could see yourself using? Or are you still too attached to your iPad? Drop me a comment and let me know. And if you're interested in picking up an AINOTE 2 for yourself, check the link in the description for the latest offers.